Karl Truman, the injury lawyer, joins us today, and great questions that have already come in via the mailbag, and your calls are welcome as well at 502-276-2118. That's the WBKI legal line. Good morning, Mr. Truman.
Good morning. Brave the cold to get here this morning.
Spectacular tie we were just talking about.
Yes, very handsome, Christmassy
tie.
Thank you.
Well, first, Karl, we want to start off with, if someone's never seen the show before and you've been on, for Tuesdays forever, I think.
Tuesdays with Karl.
Tuesdays with Karl. Just talk about what you do and the kind of services that you offer.
Well, my law firm, we practice both sides of the river, Indiana and Kentucky. And we do all types of bodily injury claims, whether it is workers' compensation or automobile accidents, Social Security disability, premises cases. I mean, just a variety of incidences where someone gets hurt by someone else's bad decisions, whether it's a bad decision to run a red light or talk on the cell phone while driving.
Amputate the wrong leg.
Yes.
Medical malpractice.
Medical malpractice situations, yes.
It happens.
It does happen.
That's why they write with what do you call it, Sharpies, no on the leg that's not supposed to come off.
Nursing home neglect.
Yeah.
Okay.
All kinds of things.
Switching gears just a little bit, you are giving back to the community, obviously helping people in their needs, but you also want to give back a little bit as far as donating some charitable givings to people.
Yeah, well, in this time, of course, there's so many organizations in need, and so I do believe in giving back to the community. And there's so many good organizations. I'd like some help from the viewers to find out what organization should I be giving to. Whether just last week I made a donation to a local Shop with the Cop program.
Nice.
Okay.
And there are so many things, so I'd like people to...
I can make a suggestion.
Sure.
Metro Animal Services, please, because Jackie Gulby is here today with a puppy.
Yeah, those are all good ones.
They would appreciate your money.
So what I need for people to do is either call me or send me an email and give me the name of the organization and explain why what makes them special. Right,
yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And you're doing one a week?
And I need whoever comes in, or calls in or sends me an email, I need their contact info too.
Okay.
So, and then you can thank them for their great idea the next time you come on the show.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sounds good. A couple of things that came in the mailbag, Becca. Should we go ahead and take a look at one of those?
Yeah, we're still taking phone calls, 276-2118, but we do have a mailbag.
And this one says, from Don in Jeffersonville, Karl, you ready for this question? I hear a lot in the news about the uncertain future of Social Security because of the large population of baby boomers. If they decide to do away with Social Security benefits, how much of an impact do you think that will have? And boy, I tell you what, we've talked about this for a long time. Will any of us actually see our Social Security?
Well, there's a couple parts. Actually, when people talk about, the Social Security and Social Security benefits, they always talk about retirement benefits.
Yes.
And raising a retirement age and income limits for that. But the part of Social Security that nobody talks about is Social Security disability.
That's right.
Which of course that's the area where I practice in, is people who are totally disabled and are unable to work and apply for Social Security disability benefits. But that's something that it's really kind of forgotten when we talk about the Social Security. And for example, people who want to promote privatizing accounts, let's basically take the money away from the government and let you have your own private account.
Kind of like health savings, but Social Security savings, right?
Or or make it a 401k type program where you own your money. But which, on one hand, sounds like a great idea, but what would that do to if you become disabled?
Yes.
Now, who is going to pay your disability benefits if you have that? Your own Social Security fund that is no longer in the government control.
Right.
So now who's going to fund your disability? Because most people don't buy private disability plans. I mean, you should and can, but most people don't do that. So if you become totally disabled, how are you going to fund your disability? So that's part of this privatization that nobody talks about.
Absolutely.
Man, and I think, I'm a little bit younger, so I'm paying this, and I'm like, am I ever going to see it? And so this all ties together. It's just, I don't know.
Which is yes, from your perspective, you might be thinking, well, hey, great, I just want this money in my own account, like my own IRA. But what happens if you become sick and disabled, and now who's going to pay your disability?
Right. I don't know. You're the man with the answers, so we'll see when it unfolds in the news.
And another email has come in that has asked us this question, Karl, from Amy in Louisville. And this is a tough one because we're all dealing with aging parents if we're in the baby boomer generation. We recently placed my dad in a nursing home, which was a very difficult decision. I believe we thoroughly researched and checked the facility out, but if down the line I suspect some negligence, what should I do? And boy, that's a scary question, because sometimes you feel like you're being a whistleblower and it might be taken out on the person in the nursing home.
Well, it is, and because people do contact me and they think, well, if I make a claim or raise anything, then are they going to kick my parent out?
Yes.
Right.
And that is a concern. And you've got to be involved. You've got to be there. You've got to be checking and looking. I don't necessarily mean looking for trouble, but just keep an eye open for what is going on and how they're being treated. And certainly don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yes.
And bring it to the attention, whether it's the director of nursing or the administration or the nurses, and developing a relationship with the caregivers there. So
whether your loved one's in a hospital or in a nursing home
Right.
or in an assisted care facility, family members have to be present and actively involved.
you have to be involved, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Okay, so don't be afraid to ask questions, and aging parents, finally a complaint, maybe even. Would that be maybe a first step, you think?
Well, it could be, and it depends on the severity of the situation. I mean, if and how bad that it gets. I mean, there are certain circumstances or situations where having an investigation by the state could be appropriate, and certainly if it's something serious, a serious injury, then definitely give us a call and we can look into it. I have nursing home experts that I work with to look into claims where someone becomes here. I've had situations where people have been dropped from lifts.
Yes.
Where in situations where restraints improperly used, bed sores.
People have fallen and been left on the floor.
Had a case where this elderly person had a bed sore, and they're smaller the back. It was so big, literally, your fist could fit inside of it. It
Terrifying.
It was horrible.
And
I
a call or
I
a
could
letter-
barely stand to look at the pictures. It was that horrible.
A call or a letter from an attorney can carry a tremendous amount of weight in any situation.
And especially Karl, we've told you
That's
all
right.
about what he does: medical malpractice, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury law, Social Security law, workers' compensation, and you have 2 offices in Louisville and Jeffersonville, Indiana.
Which I think is a great benefit, because so often, so many attorneys, especially being right here on the border, an attorney has to be licensed in the state where your case is pending. So, for example, if you have an automobile accident in Indiana and you call an attorney in Louisville, then does that is that person licensed there? So you have to be licensed in the state,
and you are
being both
And
Indiana
he can help
and
you figure
Kentucky.
it out. It's Karl Truman, and also if you want the ice scraper he's brought on several times, just call your office.
Yeah, just call me and I'll send you one, no charge.
And call in with
All
your
right.
suggestions for charitable giving. He's got
That's
money
right.
to give away, and he wants to have your ideas.
All right, thank you, Karl. Have a great weekend.
Great.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Karl Truman, the injury lawyer.